Posture is something almost all of us struggle with. We sit too much, move too little, and before we know it, we've got slouched shoulders, forward head posture, and chronic tightness that we just can't seem to fix. But here's the truth. What most people get completely wrong: posture isn't a conscious thing. You can't just sit up straight and expect long-term results. Why? Because posture is reflexive. It's controlled by your nervous system, not your willpower. So to actually fix your posture, we need to go deeper than stretches or strengthening exercises. I dove into the latest neuro research to uncover what really works, and it all starts with this. Posture starts in the brain, not in the muscles. This is where most programs fall short. They focus on trying to fix the muscles, your traps, your back, your hips, but science shows that your posture is programmed at the level of your brainstem. It's governed by something called subcortical reflexes, which are automatic responses that your body uses to maintain upright posture. Now, here's the catch. If those reflexes are off, no amount of stretching or strengthening will make a difference. The body will just revert back to its default slouched position. But before we move on, just a quick heads up. We just launched something called the 5-minute posture fix. So if you've been dealing with pain or tightness and nothing else has really worked, this is built to change that. You can check it out in the link below. So what throws these reflexes off in the first place? Well, it usually comes down to poor sensory input, like the signals coming in from your feet and your eyes affecting your vestibular system. Now, if those systems are not aligned, your brain is not able to get a clear sense of where your body is in space. One study from the Journal of Clinical Neuroscience found that simply improving sensory feedback from the feet could enhance postural stability without any strength training at all. That's why the first real fix is to restore proper sensory input. And you can start with proprioceptive drills or using eye exercises to stabilize your visual system, which has a direct link with your head and neck posture. Improving sensory input before working out is already doing more than what 99% of people who only focus on the muscles and joints, because you're actually changing the way that you relate to gravity, allowing your brain to change your postural habits. So now that we've improved the input system, we can move on to step 2, which is building the foundation that holds your posture up from the inside. Now, most posture guides will tell you to start by fixing your core. But here's the truth. If your vestibular system, that's the part of your inner ear that's responsible for balance, is out of sync, it will inhibit your deep spinal stabilizers like the multifidus or transverse abdominis. According to a study in the Spine Journal, these muscles fire milliseconds before any movement to create stability. If they're delayed or underactive, the rest of your body has to compensate. And that's where the slouching and tightness comes in. That means that no matter how many planks or breathing drills you do, your brain won't let those muscles fire efficiently, because your brain won't engage the stabilizers if it doesn't feel safe or balanced. A study in Neuroscience Letters showed that disturbances in the vestibular system led to decreased trunk muscle activation and impaired postural control even in healthy individuals. So what's the fix? You need to reactivate the balance system before you train the core. Here's where to start. Vestibular resets. Gentle head tilts, eye tracking, and gaze stabilization drills can help realign your inner ear's communication with your brain. Standing on barefoot or balance pads or foam can re-engage the proprioceptors in your feet and stimulate the spinal reflexes needed for upright posture. Now, once the vestibular system is back online, then and only then should you start training your core. Now, when you do, you'll actually get results because the brain no longer sees your upright posture as a threat. Building strength and alignment, not dysfunction. Here's what the research says. An 8 weeks randomized controlled trial in swimmers showed that posture correction only improved when exercises included alignment correction, which means that strength alone didn't cut it. If you're lifting with a forward head or flared rib cage, you're just reinforcing the dysfunction. A 2001 review in the journal Strength and Conditioning Research found that resistant training alone rarely corrected posture. So what movement helps most? Rowing variations, split squats, and single leg deadlifts to build symmetry can improve hip stability. Just remember that form is everything and that the brain controls the baseline. if you train in a bad position, you program your nervous system to live in that position. So at this point now, you've already addressed the sensory system, activated the deep stabilizers, you've built strength in alignment, but there is one more layer that most people never consider, and it could be the missing piece to locking in those lasting results. Fix your posture and your breathing will follow. Here's something most people get backwards. They believe breathing controls posture, but in reality, posture controls breathing. If your head is forward, your ribs are flared and your pelvis is tilted. Your diaphragm physically can't function the way it's supposed to. That leads to shallow chest-based breathing, and from there, the whole system starts to break down. Fatigue goes up, focus goes down, and your body enters a low-grade stress response. The study found that postural deviations in the thoracic spine directly reduced lung capacity and altered respiratory pattern even in otherwise healthy individuals. So what's the fix? Restore proper posture first, and breathing function starts to normalize on its own. To speed up the process, you can use drills that reinforce both at the same time. So you're not just training your breath here, you're reconditioning your nervous system to associate good posture with calm, regulated breathing. And that brings us to the final and maybe most important step. Your posture drives your nervous system, your thoughts, your mood, and even your stress level. We often think of posture as something that reflects how we feel, but research tells us it actually goes the other way around. Poor posture doesn't just follow stress, it creates it. Slouched posture compresses the diaphragm, limits oxygen intake, and sends low frequency to the brainstem associated with anxiety and mood. A 2017 study in health physiology found that upright posture improved self-esteem, increased alertness, and even reduced negative thinking in people with mild to moderate depression. Now that's powerful. So if you want to feel better, think clearer, and function at your highest level, start with your posture. Here's your final checklist to actually fix it once and for all. Rewire your brain by addressing your sensory receptors, feet, and eyes. Activate your deep core system and body stabilizers from the inside out. Build strength through proper alignment, not dysfunction. Let posture improve your breathing, not the other way around. Use your posture to regulate your nervous system and transform how you feel. If you address the root cause of body imbalances, posture stops being something you think about. It won't happen overnight, but it will happen if you stop chasing surface level fixes and finally address the root cause.